Hey, it's Phil from Seattle House Mafia. In this industry interview, we sit down with one of my personal DJ heroes, DJ trentvon. As a DJ veteran for more than 40 years, Trent shares his undeniable passion for the gear, the music, and the art of making people dance. Stick around for Trent's set as he drops an absolute banger of a retro-inspired mix that only someone at his level could pull off. To keep up on all things Seattle House Mafia, be sure to like and subscribe. For now, sit back, relax, enjoy the show.
Seattle House Mafia.
All right, welcome to another episode of Seattle House Mafia's Industry Interviews Season 2. I am Phil, your host. Our guest today has been a club and event DJ since 1985. For those of you that can't math good, that's probably about 40 years of professional DJ experience. Believe that. Migrating from San Francisco in the early 90s, he held a ton of held a ton and still has a ton of residencies in the Pacific Northwest, and has played every venue any seasoned club goer could probably name in the Seattle area for sure. As a mainstay at C89.5, the longest running dance music station in the U.S., you've likely heard his shows Electrobox, Nocturnal Transmission, Drive at 5, Save the Wave, and many others. He will also be performing with the Crystal Method in Rabbit in the Moon in March, which is next month. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome trentvon.
Well, hello.
Yeah, I feel like we need a cheery track because I'll be honest, when I first conceptualized this idea, you were like number 1 or 2 I put on the list of people I wanted to get in here. So I didn't want to blow you up too much, but
well, we can do the tracks in post, right?
There you go.
Yeah, okay,
there you go. Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Well, welcome to the Seattle House Mafia
This
HQ.
is really, really cool down here, guys.
And
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun space, and rumor has it, after chatting back and forth with your wife, you just came from installing a disco ball. Was that what happened?
Yeah. I mean, you got to respect the disco ball. I think a lot of people don't respect the disco ball, and we got it up. We got it up in this venue, put some lights on it, and the owner's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." I mean, it's funny how something so old school is still so
it still goes off.
Exciting. Yeah.
So can you share what venue you were installing this disco ball?
Oh, yeah. It's up at Apex.
Okay.
Apex.
Yes. Apex. Got it.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for I think that's a funny thing. 40 years you've been doing this and you're still out installing disco balls, right? Like that tells me there's some love for the game. Yeah.
No doubt. Yeah. It definitely, when I put the lights on it, it was really something. I got super, super high powered beams on it.
Okay.
And it's kind of in the midst of other mirror balls around it. So I was able to refract the main 48-inch mirror ball around all the other ones that are kind of in satellite with it. And so as the light kind of comes through it, it's kind of refracting and bouncing all over the place. Yeah, and the owner was like, "Oh, yeah, that's cool."
Did he not envision? You brought the idea of the
well, you know who actually brought it was Evan Blackstone. I don't know if you remember.
I recognize the name.
Yeah. He was pretty much the vision, and he makes me go up the ladder. So,
does he hold it for you at least?
What's that?
Does he hold it for you at least?
Oh, sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of heights, so it's like a 25-foot ceiling.
That's high enough, man.
Yeah.
That's well, thank you. We're at that age, Trent, where you might want to be careful climbing ladders because it's not the climb, it's the fall.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I find myself a little extra worried when I'm at the top, thinking a little bit more about what I would do.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, I used to be able to walk the ladder.
Yeah.
Where you kind of shake it around and you almost fall over, but you're kind of moving it along. Anyway.
Well,
silly thing to do.
So I just gave you one secret, which was you were one of the first people that I listed. I have this massive list of people I want to come through the studio, but you were up at the top. But I will tell you, and this is honest to goodness truth, when people ask me who kind of were the DJ inspirations early on, it's usually 2 people that come up, and there's a bunch of other locals that I love and admire, the Brian Lyons, the Wesley Holmes, like all these old school guys. But it was Donald Glaude,
Oh,
He blew my head off at my first rave.
Donald Glaude blows my mind.
Totally. And then
yeah.
and then it was you. And when I really, like, I had gone and seen you play at Neighbors, which you killed at Neighbors.
Right.
I actually had, and they were self-labeled My Gay Neighbors up the street in West Seattle. That's what they referred to themselves as. So we'd go to Neighbors, but then they took me to Things That Go Bump in the Night. You remember that party at Union Station?
I remember that, yeah.
And I don't remember what year it was, but you were DJing that party, and that was like a life-changing party that I went to.
Oh man.
Yeah, at Union Station.
There was that, and gosh, you remember Cat in the Hat?
I do.
Oh, I did some parties for them.
Did you really?
Yeah, they I gave them a tape, and I was like, and I did the best job I could with it. And it was back in the day when you couldn't fake the funk with the tape. You had to do it. If you did a good set on cassette, there was a pretty good chance you knew what you were going to get. And so I got the gig, and it was the one that was across the street from Denny's,
right,
on Denny Way.
Yes.
There was like some crazy warehouse space out there.
I remember because I went to several parties there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And so he goes, they come up to me and they're like going, well, all we have is we just have the closing set. And I was like, yeah, I'll take whatever, I don't mind spinning at 6 a.m.
Nice.
And so it was a night, I believe Donald Glaude was playing that night, and the place was raging. And then I go up there with my 2 crates of records and everything. And I felt like I did a pretty good job.
Sure.
Right. And afterwards, they're like, okay, from now on, you're our closer. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to.
Because closing there is 6 a.m. or whatever.
Right. I don't want to be the closer all the time. But there's like, no, you were the one that kept the most people to the end. I was like, well, okay, maybe I should have sucked a little bit, just so that I can do the opening or something like that. But that was a fun party.
Yeah.
That was a fun party.
Well, are we talking 90s at that point?
We're talking like 92.
Yep.
Yeah. And
it's when I first started going to raves, like right around 92, 91, 92.
I can't remember who it was that did the sound, but he worked up at Rain too.
Okay.
Yeah. That was an interesting time. There was MP24. No, it was the MP... 24.
24, okay.
Yeah, it was the 24.
Gotcha.
But good times.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun back then.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's I mean, that was one of the things I was gonna ask you about. Like I said in the intro, you've been doing this for 40 years, and I think a lot of people in Seattle know who you are, but I think actually there's probably some assumption that the new kids may not necessarily know. I mean, you've played the rave scene, you played the gay scene, you've opened for people like Blondie and Flock of Seagulls, right? Like, I mean,
right. Oh, Blondie was a kick.
Yeah, tell us about like how did you get a gig? Well, just how do you even get into those gigs where you're actually playing alongside these live bands?
It is one of those things to where I realize that it's absolutely not something you could fill out an application for. Totally. Right. It's just who you know. Right. And I was at that time, and I still am associated with Tulalip Resort Casino. And it was just a conversation. And they're like, they were looking for an 80s DJ. And I'm like, oh, I can do 80s.
Yeah, you probably do 80s better than anybody I've ever heard. And I will bet you my partner in crime, Sangdo, would agree with that. Like,
there's a whole trick to doing that music. But
I need a lesson.
But, they needed somebody, and I just happened to be there at the table. And they were like going, oh, can you do it? Yeah, sure. That's how easily those gigs, but you have to be in that kind of position. And the way I became in that position was I did probably about 4 years of the most humble grunt work.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I sit back there and I look back on all those gigs I did before the big one.
Right.
And I'm like going, wow. Not to say that they were bad gigs.
Totally.
They're just gigs that nobody will notice.
Right.
It's kind of one of those things. So.
I mean, because that is a whole multi-genre. You also like I mentioned before again in my intro, the multi-genre stuff. You've been like you play raves. You've played 80s new wave, like all of these different things, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, was there a conscious decision, or did trentvon just one day get some records and decide I'm going to play everything or what, and I'm going to do it really well? Or
I've
what?
always been into disco.
Okay.
Right? Disco is my foundation. And I was pretty well like championing all the big disco hits, and then of course Michael Jackson, going into Prince and all that.
Oh yeah.
And I felt like I was like really into all that until one day I went to the Palladium.
Okay.
And that blew my mind. It was the first time I heard A Perfect Kiss, New Order, and Trans-X, Living on Video, and those epic Italo disco records.
Right.
And it was by a DJ called DJ Steve X, and he held down Thursday nights. And I remember just watching this magic trick happen, to where the songs never seemed to end. They were just continually being blended together, and it was that way. And I was like, how is he doing that? You know, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody else in the club is having a great time.
Right.
And you're spending the whole time at the club staring at the DJ. Obsessing and trying to get into, like, how is he doing that? What is he? And I think I'm speaking to the entire audience here of people that have done that before.
Oh, for sure.
And it was right at that point to where I was like going, oh, there's a whole world of club music I've never been exposed to. And I think that I probably spent the better part of the past, 40 years trying to retrace all those records that came out back then. And it's actually, but the Palladium is where my love for club music started.
Yeah, and where Palladium was...
Oh, yes. There's a Palladium in every city, right?
Wow.
It's like, I guess I should clear that. But the Palladium on Kearny at Broadway down in San Francisco.
Okay, gotcha. So that was almost before you were technically sort of on the DJ path. It was just what tripped you into it.
And my first club I worked at, which was back in 1986, was a place called the Casbah.
Okay.
Spelled with a K-A-Z.
Okay.
And it was located in Napa, California. And it was a teen club down there. And that's where I cut my teeth and did some of the most, one or two really good mixes, and probably about 40, sneakers in a dryer. So, where we all started, back then.
I don't even know if kids understand the phrase "shoes in the dryer" at this point, because
sneakers in a dryer. It's kind of like that. If you throw sneakers in a dryer, and it's the random claps and bumps that make no. That's what it sounds like when you purposely throw a record off beat.
I know what you're talking about, and I used to use the term too. It's funny because I think a lot of people just with sync in general haven't even experienced the love of shoes in the dryer on a live sound, like a big sound system. Yeah. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's
like a car accident.
But there is something to be said for a good train wreck.
Yeah.
And the reason why I never took that to heart is it's the one real moment you'll have with your crowd.
Yep.
Right? And they all look up at the booth like, what's wrong? What's happening? Why? Stop doing that. And then you go back. But the trick is never to go back there.
Right.
Right. But you'll notice that after a big total train wreck, all of a sudden the crowd is back with you because you almost get entranced over a period of time to where it's just constantly happening. You take it for granted. And you forget that there's a guy in the booth actually putting that together. That's the thing about actually the sync button, which I use on occasion.
Same.
You know what I mean? But there's a point to where you can become so perfect that you become boring.
Yep.
Right? And that little mistake that you take, I can't believe I did that, is a moment that you could have with the crowd and then take it from there,
I have never either thought about it that way or had it vocalized to me, but it is interesting to think that it it like, not that we mean to do it, but it's almost like a strategic maneuver to pull the crowd back in, and they're actually kind of pulling for you, but you like woke them up out of the trance a little bit, right? And
right. No, the guy that brought that told me it was kind of funny, but it was a story. I got a million stories, people, but there was a sound tech I was talking about in the pre moments when we first came over. Johnny Kometz.
Okay.
And he was up in the rafters, I guess, of Neighbors. He was back someplace, and he brought out this big reel-to-reel. I mean, big 10-inch reels and everything.
Right.
And he's going to record a rock lobster. And he didn't let me know about it, right?
And a rock lobster was you specifically?
Yeah. It was up at Neighbors on Capitol Hill here in Seattle. Longest running 80s dance party,
so good,
a new wave.
Yep.
And a Thursday night, people, and we were pulling like 1,400 people on a Thursday night. It was insane.
Place used to just go off.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
And at any rate, so I'm playing this stuff that is at best like a lot of work to keep perfect.
Yep.
And you have to pick your mix. If you're like 8 beats late, you missed your window,
Yep.
And so I'm mixing along and I'm doing my thing. And at the end of the night, he goes, "Yeah, I recorded tonight." And I was like, "You what?" And he goes, "Yeah, I recorded tonight." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. If I knew you were recording, there was that mix." And he goes, "Don't worry about it." He goes, "Those are the moments that bring the crowd back."
God, that's so interesting.
And I was like, he goes, "Did you notice that after that, the place raged?" And I was like, "That's so weird." But after that, I never took it hard.
Yeah.
That I messed up, because you bring them back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's my little story with that.
No, I mean it's well, and this was okay. So I'm going to back up a second. The first reason I got in touch with you was because I saw you had purchased a mixer that I was looking at, that Eckler Warm 2, that little rotary mixer. Like, we're old school guys. I didn't have much rotary experience, and I was looking at this thing and obsessing about it. And then I saw you had, and I'm like, well, fuck, Trent knows how to DJ. I wonder what he thinks about this thing.
I was terrible at it for the first month.
Well, but then I got in touch with you, and you were so like cool and responsive, because I just hit you out of face. You don't know me from Adam. I mean, though I've been going to your shows for 30 fucking years, like, you don't know me, and you were just so cool about it. And then actually you connected me with your wife, who told me where she got it for you, because she got it for your birthday, which, what a cool gift.
Yeah,
right?
it was before you could buy it even in the US, and we found some place out in Germany.
Yep. And I went to the same place, but just like how, like, I had built up, I don't want to make you feel weird, but I'd built up who trentvon is in my head, and I was like, this dude is not going to even talk to me, but I'll try, because I'm curious, and it'd be a nice intro.
Right.
And you just were like a regular cool gear dork who, just like me, and you know what I mean?
We one year, me and my wife, we went to the Winter Music Conference. I want to say it was 2001.
Yep.
And we went around, and we just had like a side thing that we were doing, right? Yep. With all the panels and all the parties you go to. And you meet like 1,000 people, and every one of the DJs that we walked up to, we're like, okay, in high school, did you A, B, or C? And one of them was, were you in charge of the AV department?
Is that right?
And then two other things that were like off the path, right? Or whatever. And about 95% of them back then were like, "Oh yeah, I totally would go back and fix the projector," or something to do with the AV kind of thing. And we were all, and then that's kind of when I realized that DJs are kind of almost kind of the geekiest ones in the room.
I totally agree.
You know what I'm saying? And we just kind of found something cool to do later in life, and like, we're gonna DJ. But most of the people we walked up, they all had something to do with AV department. Yep.
And did you do AV in high school?
Of course I did. I even went one step further. I did the audio for the drama department, right? So I had to follow cues.
And like hit lights and do all that.
Hit lights and everything. Yeah,
Holy
drama.
Love it.
So
that's so cool.
Yeah, so there's always a little bit of wanting to kind of pull the strings.
Yeah,
but I. I'll go ahead on to your next question.
No. They keep going.
I was kind of like thinking, going from that, I visualized where I was in the room, and I'm like, well, I was in a booth behind, the audience behind the stage, kind of thing. And I thought about how much the DJ thing has kind of changed to where we went from the booth to the stage.
Yep.
And how a lot of DJs kind of, that's the way people see a DJ now. They see him on a stage,
Everybody facing forward.
Everybody facing forwards to it. And I remember the first couple times I dealt with that, because up to like about 15 years ago, I was always in a DJ booth, right? So I never really had to worry about people looking at me or whatever. And so I just get lost in a groove and lost in a moment and just roll and pay no attention to the crowd, just in my mix. And the first couple times I'm in that space to where I'm on a stage, I'm like, I see all these people looking at me, and I'm like, what are you guys looking at? What's going? Is there something happening? Is somebody doing something behind me?
Is the curtain on fire?
Yeah. What's happening?
I know.
It was just so weird. But there definitely in house music and in the rave scene, there is definitely the DJ has moved towards the stage.
Yeah.
Right. And it's become like a big festival kind of thing. Something I'm never that comfortable with, though. It's not my jam.
Would it be fair to say, because I actually remember a post that you made on Facebook about this, and we got another time I interacted with you. I think this was actually before the mixer interaction, where you were talking about exactly this, where you were saying the speakers used to be the star and the dance floor, and you do audio tech, and that all has changed.
Well,
right?
So if you're building a nightclub, you kind of think of what you're going to build that nightclub to do.
Sure.
Are you going to do headlining DJs that tour around, whatever? And so in that case, you can direct people just by the placement of the sound system on where to look.
Right.
And or are you going to build kind of like a neighborhood bar with a DJ, and it's not so much about a stage but about people dancing?
Yep.
And the one thing you'll notice is you have a wall of sound. It's like a freight train.
Yep.
Right. So you're looking at where the freight train's coming from.
Right.
And so you look towards the sound. So, and also the best sound happens to be closest to the stage. Right. And most of us want to be in a club where the best sound is.
Yeah.
Where's it sound the best?
Right.
And so sweet spot. People crowd right up to the stage. And venues like the Phoenix Underground and Neighbors and those places, they were set up in such a situation to where the sound system surrounded the entire dance floor. And the lighting wasn't behind the DJ or a stage. The lighting was all focused on the dance floor. And if you notice that in that particular situation, you wanted to be where the sound sounded the best, where would you go?
Middle of the dance floor, right?
Middle of the dance floor. And because the dance floor had no direct sound coming from one place, what did you end up doing? You end up
looking at the hot girl in front of you, or your buddies, or your
and so
right?
If you look at pictures of Studio 54 or any old school venue, you'll notice that people are faced in all kinds of different directions, facing towards themselves, over here, over there, over there. Nobody can care less about what the DJ's doing, right? The DJ's is keeping the beat, keeping the vibe going, and you seem to be completely obsessed with the customer across from you. And I'm kind of seeing a resurgence a little bit with that classic disco kind of thing. There's a lot of house DJs that would prefer that people just danced with each other than staring at, because whatever I'm doing up in the booth is kind of interesting, but only to other DJs.
Right.
I want you to be into each other.
Yeah.
I
think that's a super healthy perspective. And I think I've been doing it long enough to remember those days as well. And do you think it will go back? Do you think we can get back to that? Do you think we should get back to that?
There already is some situations, like I've dealt with, like, I was talking to one of the guys who used to be part of the DJ pool, Northwest Dance Music.
Okay.
And he's now the manager up at Tulalip. And they have this room. It's a live music room, right? It's the same thing. And they're like, we're going to put DJs up here. Right. And so you got a DJ standing on this stage that's designed for live music. Right. And I told him, I says, if you really want people to treat this like a DJ kind of dance club kind of thing, you need to put a couple Mackies on a stick behind them.
Yeah.
And he goes, why? And I says, because it'll pull their attention away from the stage and it will put the attention back on each other.
Interesting.
And if I'm pulling in like a David Guetta, of course I'm going to have the stage kind of thing. But
I mean, yeah, it's funny. I wonder, because there's a whole generation, maybe 2 generations now of DJs that have only experienced the everybody facing forward looking at the DJ. And
right.
You look at Instagram, you look at whatever, any social media, and that's, it's just like people. And I sort of love part of it, but at the same time, I'm like, we're not that interesting to look at sometimes.
After a while,
right? You got to kind of be a little more performant than like what you should really be focused on, right? Is the music and the mix and the EQ.
You will find I talked to a lot of my Gen X fellows.
Yes.
And they're kind of like in that position now to where they're opening nightclubs and opening venues.
Yep.
And stuff like that. I have a buddy, Billy the Kid. I don't know if you remember the name.
Yeah, for sure.
He's opening a venue down in San Antonio. A little plug for him. He's getting ready to open. But that is his entire layout. His entire layout is he wants to design a club to where people are into each other, not into anything else,
I like it.
He wants people into each other. It's important that the DJ is on point and doing his thing, but
right.
I think more is... I think we're going to probably see more of that. The other thing I think that has a little something to do with that is that we used to hire DJs from England and Washington, D.C. and different places of the country because we wanted their collection in their record collection in our club for a night. And
their flavor, their influence, what's going on in DC, right?
What's going on in DC? Yeah. What's going on in
for sure?
And the whole glossy flyer of like, oh my God, I can't believe Paul Van Dyke's going to be here. Oh, right. I got to see this. And the internet has shrunk the world so much to where I kind of think the festivals are one thing, but it's getting more and more about the local scene now because we can get that influence online and bring but that was a little side note to that whole kind of thing. I think as things become more localized, we might see venues kind of become more of the classic discotheque kind of a thing because it's not so much about a big headliner. It's more about...
I think it'd be really cool to like go that way a little bit for sure because it's been several years of facing forward and you know what I noticed, and I don't know if you agree with this, but I feel like people don't dance as well anymore either. I feel like
I was at this place, Kangaroo and Kiwi in Ballard.
Okay.
You know about the place?
I think I've heard of it before.
It's an Australian sports bar / nightclub.
Okay.
Right. And me and a few buddies we DJ at, we're kind of on a rotating roster, and we do some fun stuff over there. And it's all Gen Z, man. All Gen Z, maybe some millennials kind of trickling in here and there. And I told him, I says, let's design the sound system this way. And we hung 4 Mackies in each corner. We got dual 18s over here, dual 18s over here.
Right.
And let's see what happens, because before it was just, one side of the dance floor. That place is the biggest, goofiest dance floor I DJ at in Seattle. everything from mashups to this, that, boom, boom, boom. I played a Zito de bass.
Okay.
In there, and they freaked out like they never. But they were doing just what we described. They were dancing with each other.
Wow.
And they were pointing in all different directions.
Yeah.
So nobody was looking at me, which I was happy about that.
Yeah.
I was like, listen, I got this part. You just have fun.
Yeah.
I got this. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Wow. It would be, I'm envisioning if I just don't know if the pendulum will swing all the way back there. It would be fun to see if it did.
Right.
And you know, all the hot girls and guys who don't really mix that well or have that great a taste in music, like what would happen to their worlds, because all of a sudden the product.
I think there's room enough for both venues.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's very diplomatic of you.
I think you'll always have like kind of the headliner DJ.
Sure.
And you'll always have the neighborhood DJ. And I considered myself more of a neighborhood DJ. You know, there was a time when I thought, it would be fun to go from city to city to city and all that. But then I got caught up at Neighbors, and I got the whole Rock Lobster thing going. I got all this stuff and all this in the radio station, and I was like, you know what? I like where I live. Yeah. I'm just going to stay here and do my thing.
Yeah, it's funny because I kind of think the same thing, you know, and I never played as much as you did or had the name that you had, but you know, there was a time where I thought if I really pushed it, I can maybe start touring and doing the thing and be part of these different crews.
A friend of mine brought up the perfect name for what that's called.
What is it?
It's called Chasing the Glossy Flyer.
Okay. Yeah.
He goes, man, there was a time when I was chasing the Glossy Flyer.
So what you're saying is we've all been through some version of that.
We've all chased the Glossy Flyer.
Fuck.
And
I'm so cliche.
Some of us went for it.
Yeah.
And they're doing whatever they're doing right now, but they don't really have like a home base.
Yep.
And then some of us, we were like, well, that would have been, that was fun, or that was fun for a summer. And then we got home and we're like, living out of a suitcase is not really my gig.
I mean, that's it. Like even when I watch like John Summit, for instance, who's
right.
like, you know, young stud who's just doing all these festivals, his life looks exhausting to me now. At 51,
look at what happened to Avicii.
Yeah.
That guy got burned to the nub.
Yeah.
I mean, it got to the point to where he was just like, there was so much demand, and he couldn't take it anymore.
I mean, James Hype was even talking about he's in a lot of times when he's like full on tour mode, he's in a different city. He's like every day.
Right.
You can't enjoy Ibiza or fucking Florence or whatever if you know you have to fly out at 3 a.m. after your set. Like, I just don't. It doesn't really matter where you are if all you're seeing is the DJ booth and then going to the next one, right?
Going to the next, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know.
I'd like to give it a try. Like you said, for the summer, I'd love to have a summer of that, for sure.
Yeah. A summer, go out and do your thing and go, okay, now I'm back home. Yeah. How's the mortgage doing? Okay. You know.
Exactly. Got car need an oil change. Right.
Yeah, things like that.
But, well, that's I was going to actually ask you about the radio piece of it, because not only have you had such a varied experience with, you know, doing club and event DJing, and even alongside these live, you know, what did I say? I said Blondie, but you've also done Flock of Seagulls. There was a dude from Stray Cats you played alongside.
Oh yeah.
What's his name? I have his name. It's
on my list too, isn't it?
Yes, it is. No, I got it. It is Lee Rocker. I don't know. I blanked on it. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that funny? We're both, what was that? No, the best one. Actually, this was a funny story. There was a LAP, like listener appreciation party, that we did for C89.
Yeah.
And this particular one, Brooklyn Bounce was there.
Okay.
It was like, oh my God, Brooklyn Bounce. And anyway, so Brooklyn Bounce, here he is. We flew him in. He's all part of the party and everything. And I was on before Brooklyn Bounce, and I was just, did my whole thing. And I had to do it with turntables because, I'm a show off when I'm on a stage.
Yeah.
I got to have my turntables, right?
Of course.
And so I do my whole set and everything. Everybody's, they're having a good time. It's a big party.
Right.
And then afterwards, there was like a live performer, and we did a set change, and Brooklyn Bounce was coming on next, and they set up a couple CDJs, a couple CDJ 1000s, I think were at the time.
Yep.
As was the style at the time.
Yep.
And, a whole Pioneer setup, and he freaking just kills it, right? Just hammers it. And then afterwards, we're seeing the video footage because the record label he's with did a whole thing about his visit to Seattle.
Right.
And we're looking at it, and here's Brooklyn Bounce. And then when they focus on the DJ gear, there's my hands on my turntables.
Oh, my God.
They made it look like Brooklyn Bounce was like spinning records.
Right.
I thought it was I was like, well, all he had to do was ask. I would have let him use my 12s,
Right.
That was a funny little story.
Yeah. No, it's well, but there's some, to your point, I think there's still some legitimacy to, turntables versus controllers versus CDJs. We were talking about that before we got in here,
Well, it's kind of interesting. People understand a keyboard because most of their parents had a keyboard. A piano,
Yep.
right? So and so when they see somebody playing on a piano, they kind of have like an idea of what that is.
Yeah.
A lot of people, young and old, they know what a turntable is, and they've even played on turntables before.
Right.
Or not played on turntable, but, actually played a record.
Right, played a record. Yep.
Whatever. But I think that people are a bit of, they're at a bit of a loss when they see a DJ playing on CDJs.
Yeah.
Or digital gear. I think a lot of people don't understand what they're doing with it.
Right.
And so there's a bit of a disconnect unless you're a DJ.
Right.
You don't know really what that button does or what's the significance of him doing this or doing that. But when a DJ busts out a turntable, you're like, oh, I get that. Like you put it there and it plays the song. Oh, okay. You know, because it's something that it's kind of like if you were a railroader or a rail fan. There's like people that follow trains around this country.
Yep.
Right? And they're called rail fans. Would you stand trackside and wait hours on end to see a diesel go by? Or would you much rather see a steam train?
Right.
And I kind of feel like turntables are the steam train of DJs.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's still, I think, I agree with you, but I think and there's like a little bit of a novelty now because so many, I actually had a buddy come over the other night who's never even touched vinyl before. And I was actually like walking him through how to look at the grooves on a record. Like I just assumed he would understand that. And he was like, so that blank line means a new track. And I was like, yes, this is so cool, cute. Yeah. It's so cute. But yeah, and for me, like I always tell people like real vinyl is my favorite. I just love the physicality of it. I love the fact that you got to babysit everything. Like it's you're always working, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really interesting. Yeah. But I don't know if we'll ever get back to the point where turntables.
Oh gosh, no.
It's like a circus trick for us now, right?
It's gone way too far, but you still want to see a steam train go by. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be like, 50 years from now playing a vinyl record.
Totally.
And somebody's going to go, wow, that's cool. I haven't seen anybody do that for years.
Yeah.
I remember when steam trains used to come by all the time,
And then little Timmy will be on their shoulders. Look, little Timmy, let me tell you about steam trains. I get it.
But, I have buddies that will do all vinyl nights, and that's kind of cool, but it's not practical.
Yeah. It's not practical. And again, without sounding like too much of an old guy, especially if you're playing like open format, that's a lot of shit to carry.
Oh my
God. Right? Like not only turntables, but if you're carrying real vinyl with you, that's a lot of shit to carry. And that's a backbreaker.
Yeah.
And if you got stairs, Forget it.
I had a refrigerator dolly
Yeah.
that I used to load all my crates on.
Yeah.
And I would go 4 crates deep.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a
and
lot.
people would go, why do you carry so many records with you? And I was like, I'm not sure quite I don't even know what I'm going to play for your set tonight. You know,
That's
I
what I
kind of
love.
have an idea, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, we'll see where the mood takes us.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
shoot from the hip.
Yeah. Well, and I wanted to, so that was the one thing. I mean, we're talking a lot of history and just sort of how things were and how they are now. But I think what's really fascinating about you in particular is, like I said, 40 years, like what has been can you boil down like how you've been able to be relevant and how you've had this longevity? Have you nailed that down?
Because
Because you also have radio experience, right?
Well, yeah. I feel like I'm glad you asked this question, because there was there's the cool kids, then there's your everyday folks, right? And like we all know where the cool kid clubs are.
Yep.
Right. And I always kind of felt like everyday folks wanted to be they want to feel like they're in a cool place, right? But they don't want it to go over their heads all night.
Right.
Right. So I would work at a venue like Neighbors or the Phoenix. The Phoenix is a great example of this, because the owner of the Phoenix, Rick White, used to come in.
I remember Rick. Yep.
Yeah, he would tell me, he goes, we have everyday folks that want to feel like they're somewhere cool. You know?
Yeah.
And so what I would end up doing is I'm playing the Alice DJs, and I'm playing the ATVs, and I'm playing the this, and I'm playing the that, whatever. And I would intentionally like throw in like the coolest trance record, Cafe Del Mars and stuff like that. And I would throw in something that I know that no other top 40 club would ever get close to playing. But I would play it just enough to where, okay, I don't want to lose them. So I come back to their side. And then we would kind of do this little ballet to where we kind of go back and forth, kind of swimming between the hits to the cool stuff, back to the hits, back to the cool stuff.
Yep.
And it was kind of really cool, because I noticed like college kids, and every kind of walk of life, and they would like go, they would hear all their favorite music, but they're like, what is that? What is that you're playing? And then a friend of mine, Billy the Kid, again, I'll bring him up. He goes, what we do is we have fillers and killers.
Mm-hmm.
The killers are the hits. The fillers are the ones you sandwich between the hits. And then eventually the fillers become killers, so you can get rid of those killers. Now you got new killers, now you get new fillers. And you just keep playing that game, and you keep packing it in like that, and you get that rotation. But I always kind of like, I never discounted any crowd that was in front of me, like, oh, they're not cool enough for this.
Right.
I'm like, but I didn't like try to force it either.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, radio was a big help, because I always kind of felt like every time I'm on the radio, it's a 4-hour commercial for trentvon. You know?
Right. It's a pretty good gig, right?
Yeah. It's a 4-hour nonstop commercial for trentvon. I mean, you gotta love that. But one of the other things, and I will say this for the older DJs in the stream tonight, is that I used to stop and think to myself, like, the older generation just before me, like the first gen disco DJs and everything, they had rules that they went by. Even Robbie Leslie of Studio 54 said, when I turn 30, I'm stopping. Right. He stopped at 30. And I was like, for some reason, there was like this rule that you had to stop at a certain age, which I thought was weird. And Gen X, I think, was the first generation that kind of said, nah, I'm not feeling that.
Right.
We'll just keep going. And I'm at this bar, and I'm like, people half my age easily now. And and I was feeling like, oh man, maybe I'm too old to be doing this. And somebody pointed out the fact, like, all the big stars that they know are DJs, and they're all in their 40s and 50s.
True story. Yeah.
So none of those kids out there actually think it's weird for you to be up there DJing. Not like the way I probably would have felt when I was in my early 20s.
Right.
God, why is there a DJ here that's like 35 years old? I mean,
he's got so much white in his beard. What's going on?
What's going on here? But on the flip side, it's not unusual for them to see. I mean, think about all the biggest DJs. They're all over the age of 30 right now.
I think so. Yeah, you look at like the top 100. It's really interesting to sort of see that. And there's some.
It's really weird for me to be in a club and somebody like 21 start asking me about music and everything, and they don't think it's weird that I'm there.
Yeah. No, it's a good point, and that is really a good point, because I think there's this sort of, I've talked about it a little bit before, but there's almost like a renaissance where even the Gen Xers, for instance, who haven't been consistently doing it like you have for as long as you have, are now kind of coming back. Like they missed it, and like they did the career thing and the family thing and the marriage thing and maybe the divorce thing and the kid thing, and they're like, fuck man, I miss DJing and I miss music.
I was instrumental of restarting a few of those guys.
Exactly.
And I told them, I said, you got to feed the soul.
Yeah.
Your soul wants to spin records. Go spin records.
Yeah.
You only get one chance at this, man. Do all the things with no regrets.
And you don't have to go, be at the cool kids club like you said.
Right.
You could play a sports bar. Shit, you build a studio that you love because you got a little disposable income and you play at your house, right? Like
I have a buddy that he's retired Microsoft. He turned his entire bottom half into a nightclub.
Exactly.
He's like, nobody will have me at their club. I'll make my own club. I'm okay,
I know a couple guys like that have created some, myself included, have kind of created the studio that we really love to be in, And I'm sure your space is somewhat like that too. Even though you're playing out a lot, you still love to play in your space, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like you're happy. You know the gear, the sound, how everything works, and yeah.
And there's never been a better time to be spinning records right now. I mean, you don't have to spend hours and hours and hours at a record store, going through records. But
what else, one of the things I know we're coming up on honestly, Trent, I could talk to you for like 3 hours. So you're definitely coming back.
Well, we can go for another 30 minutes, and you can just grab the best bits.
Well, we'll my just happens that my producer has an equation that we've talked about before, so he kind of keeps on me a little bit. But anyway,
I got you.
We'll see where we go. But what I was going to ask you, along the same lines of just longevity, is I kind of feel like you've created at least in my mind and my experience, you've created a legacy for yourself. But is there for you, is there an end goal? Is there a legacy that you want to leave? Is there something you're still working towards because you're like you're the DJ in Seattle for so long.
I think there's a bit of I'm a lot more relaxed now.
Yeah. Less competitive?
Well, when you're in your early 20s or when you're 20s and 30s, it seems like everybody was like trying to climb to the top of the heap.
Oh, yeah.
And after the pandemic, I got a call to work over at Supernova.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, that's crazy. How cool is this, right?
Yeah.
And I get down there and I do my gig, and I realized that whatever rat race I was in before, I don't have to worry about that now.
Right.
I've already solidified that legacy. So now I get to just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I get to just go out and have fun with it, because there's nothing I'm ever going to do from this point forward other than win a Grammy or something. Right. I mean, I am happy with what I've achieved, and anything I get from this point forward is just gravy.
That's awesome.
You know,
awesome to hear.
I love it when people come up to me and tell me things, and I'm happy to help them out, you know, and help them climb the mountain or something like that. But I'm just glad to be over that high testosterone, freaking highly competitive market.
Yeah.
I see maybe people go through now, but I'm like, that's not my game anymore.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
I'm just here to have a good time. And I'm excited to be asked to the party every time.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I'm like, really? You want me to come down? You're interested in me? Okay, I'll do this interview thing. Yeah, cool. You know?
I mean, yeah, because, well, here's the thing. Like, you've been doing it for so long and you're still doing it. And it's just, to me, it's a little bit like mind-bending. And I was going to actually ask, are you as busy now as you've ever been, or does it just been ebbing and flowing your whole career? Like, what does that look like?
It's really funny because when you're busy and you got like a full calendar and it's just, you know, going and going and going.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, this is exhausting. And then there are some times to where the calendar doesn't even fill out until you're right at that month.
Yep.
And you're like going, how am I going to make the mortgage this year or this month?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. This month is exactly that month.
Oh, is that right?
Right. Yeah. I literally am watching all of the pieces fall in for March right now. And I was like a week ago kind of panicking. And so it kind of is like you say, it kind of ebb and flows, but it's a labor of love, you know, and by now I got enough friends I can call favors in. I'm like, hey, it's a short month. You got anything over here?
Yeah. That's there's something to be said about that too.
Yeah. It's all about building your relations. There was, I know we're short on time, but
you're good. Don't worry
there was a guy that I met, and he was one of the members of Mighty Dubcats.
Okay.
And I remember they came and played at the Phoenix Underground, and later on we went to 13 Coins. Yeah. Everybody goes to 13
Coins.
Later on,
good, right?
We went to the Coins, and he told me something that if you stayed to this part of the video, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
They will definitely be staying there. You are dropping nuggets here. This is great.
And I will tell you something that will prolong your career for as long as you ever want it.
Bring it.
Never, ever burn bridges. Don't ever burn bridges. Unless there's only one, and this is what he was telling me. He goes, because you never know when you're going to, whether that's going to be a bridge that you'll need to cross later on.
Right.
And you'll never know whether if that person that owns that nightclub that you're super upset at somehow is the yes or no vote down in LA or something like that. Right. You don't know where these people today will end up in your career. However, there is an exception to that. If the guy is a complete dirtbag, he goes, you burn that bridge down to cinders and you will never, ever come back to that bridge again. But in this industry, it's a weird kind of industry. And some people seem like they're really, really bad people, but the best thing to do is walk away from it.
Yeah.
Don't burn that bridge, because who knows? Maybe they'll see the light, mature, they'll get their life in a better place, and all of a sudden they're in a place to where they may flag you in, but they'll remember that time in Seattle back when I was, but you were kind of a jerk too, and I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
So never, ever burn bridges is what I'm saying.
And so just to clarify, give me a couple examples of what dirtbag behavior would be. Would it be like not paying you ever after a gig?
Wow.
Because I've had a couple of those.
Money is a it depends about. I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Money is a little bit dicey, but it's a judgment call at that point.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe that person may get his life back in order.
Yeah.
And his dirtbag moves of today might understand something different
Right.
later on in life. Just don't ever burn bridges. Try and figure out a way to get out of the situation without making an enemy.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
No, and you are exactly right. And I think you can apply this to so much of life without getting too old and philosophical. But we don't know what other people are going through, right? Whether they're a club owner, promoter, whatever, and they might be having a tough go. They could have a parent that's terminally ill. They could have a ton of things going on, and it just happens that you're in the fallout, right?
Right. And I told Brent I would not, my wife, I told her I would not mention names, but I'll tell you a name after we're done.
Okay, fair enough.
Of a person that I will not burn bridges with.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't want to go on public record.
No, that's fair. I know. You have so much history and experience with so many folks here in the city. And
I'm recently exercising my rule is what I'm doing.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Man.
We got everything? I don't know.
No, dude, there's so much more, but like
let me see. Luciana once wanted my Let's Have a Kiki shirt.
What is that? Explain that.
We were doing an LAP again, and I was wearing this shirt, Let's Have a Kiki.
Okay.
And she was going on, and she thought she could take the shirt off my back.
Oh, so
for
her performance.
Let me see. Debbie Harry actually wore. Oh, we were. Me and Debbie Harry basically had the same outfit on. That was fun.
So Debbie Harry, tell me the truth. Is she like as hot in person as like she seems to be kind of ageless, right? Debbie Harry. I mean, you're married and I'm married. I shouldn't be even asking this, but
she has an aura.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. She's something, man.
It's weird how she's walking up to you and you're like going, what's this old frail grandmother? What is she going to be able to get up on stage? What's happening?
Yeah.
And you're like going, I wonder. And boom, she gets on stage.
Clicks in.
All of a sudden, she's got all the energy, anything. I'm looking at her on the video screen going, is that the same person that walked by me? Oh, my gosh. That is amazing.
It is pretty wild to see that kind of energy from some of these like folks.
And when she came off stage, she was still bouncing like she was a 20-year-old or something.
Unbelievable.
But she does have this glow.
Yeah.
And it's like with Bowie or anything else. I've never met Bowie, but I can tell you one thing. I've seen Bowie, I've seen Tom Jones, I've seen all the greats. And you wonder, how are they still out there? And then you go see them live once and you're like,
yep.
It's the weirdest thing, right? There's this entire stage, musicians, people playing instruments, everything. And you're like going, and then Bowie comes on stage and all of a sudden that's all you see the entire time.
Yeah.
And you're like going, why am I fixated? They just have an it.
Yeah.
And then you figure it out. You're like going, I don't know what it is. It can't be taught. You can't be learned. You just born with it.
Yeah.
And Debbie Harry is a person that is born with it.
Yeah.
And it's undescribable. It's unfair to most, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people that want it, but don't have it.
Yeah.
Sadly enough.
No, I agree. I think we all wish, right? But yeah, you're right. And you can sense it. Well, so before we cut you loose back here, I
know I managed to go 5 minutes over.
I love it. Paul hates me, but no, I love it.
Okay.
But what I was going to ask you, I know you have the Crystal Method show coming up.
Yes.
So what is are you playing before the bands? Are you playing in between?
Yeah. I'm kind of your I call it the meet and greet set.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not expecting anything great. I just want people to come into the night, see their friends, grab a cocktail. I'm going to be playing some cool stuff.
Start bobbing their head.
And kind of bopping their toes tapping, heads bopping. That's all I'm looking for.
So important, though.
Toes tapping, heads bopping. If you want to dance, dance. But that's not my main focus. My main focus is meet, greet, cocktail, toes tapping, heads bopping. And then shortly before the main attraction comes on, then I want you dancing, right? But that opening set is so important.
So important.
You don't want to beat the crap out of people right walking through the door. You just want toes tapping, heads bopping.
And from what I've seen of you, like you're masterful at building that, mindfully, intentionally, right?
And you want people interacting in that first hour,
Okay.
And getting comfortable, acclimating.
Yep.
Yep.
And I think there's gonna be a wide swath of age groups and different walks of life.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, that's a badass booking for you for sure. Any other things coming up, or is it just easier? You got so much going on that we just send them to the trentvon website. Like what's the best?
trentvon.com.
Nice.
TRENT, V as in Victor, ON.com. I can't make it more simpler.
Yeah. Beautiful.
That's it. And there's a calendar there. You can see what's going on. There's links to my Mixcloud,
right on,
which I'm super happy making that jump from Twitch to Mixcloud.
Yeah, I saw that.
The bit rate is so much better. Yeah. If you're a fan of music,
Mixcloud's where it's at.
Oh yeah. They don't compress nothing, man. It is wide open and fully licensed. They're not paying me for this, but hey, Mixcloud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to say, for the folks that may not be familiar, usually like some of the younger kids who have only spent time in the cool clubs and the cool parties and may or may not be familiar with you, like you want to see some real proper professional legacy. Like this dude has inspired so many DJs like myself,
Oh, man.
But it's true, man. Like I would say anybody in my age group who's still doing music in some capacity or another has been inspired by you. Like I said, there's Donald as well. There's several others, but like you made a mark on all of us for sure. And that's been pretty cool.
Well, thank you so much.
No,
that means a lot.
And that's why it meant a lot for you to come in here, because I really wanted to get to know you, and I'd love to have you back.
We got so much to talk about.
There's so much.
I could sit here on the porch swing and just keep going and going.
And as we go, we can get a little bit into the dirt, I'm sure there's plenty of that too, but it's
no doubt.
I think this was a nice first run, and I really appreciate it, man.
Well, very cool. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this, and then I'm going to play some music.
You're going to play some music. And by the way, Trent requested turntables and a rotary mixer. So there's that future guest. See if you can top that.
There you go. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Trent.
Got to keep on dancing, keep on dancing. 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 Got to keep on dancing. Keep on dancing. Got to keep on dancing. Keep on dancing.
Do we boogie and they know how?
Oh, you know we do. You know we do.
Is it like the Apple? Uncle Groove? LA?
Oh, home.
Miami?
Look at you.
Chi-Town?
What about the city pretty?
Eddie? Augusta?
Dayton City all the way.
Eddie? DC?
All the way.
Even if you go out west in Cheyenne, places like Texas and Dallas.
They ain't got cowboys no more, you know that.
But they still boogieing.
No, brother, they just get stoned.
If you go across the water, say London, West End, what they doing?
They groove.
Do we boogie and they know how?
Oh, you know we do. You know we do.
Is it like the Apple?
Uncle Groove.
LA?
Oh, home.
Miami?
Look at you.
Chi-Town?
What about the city pretty?
Eddie? Augusta?
Dayton City all the way.
Eddie? DC?
All the way.
Even if you go out west in Cheyenne, places like Texas and Dallas.
They ain't got cowboys no more, you know that.
But they still boogieing.
No, brother, they just get stoned.
If you go across the water, say London, West End, what they doing?
They groove. Ain't no doubt we are here to party.
dancing. Got to keep on dancing, keep on dancing.
Get that groove, let it take you higher. Make it move, set this place on fire. Get that groove, let it take you higher. Make it move, set this place on fire. Dance with the boogie, get down. 'Cause boogie nights are always the best in town.
Got to keep on dancing,
brothers and sisters, I come here today to ask you one question. I want to know what happened to the soul power. See, what we need today is soul. We forgot about from which we came. But I got somebody here today just to let you know that there's still soul inside. The soul to make you walk right. Inside, soul to make you talk right, soul to make you treat your family right. I'm talking about that soul that's deep down inside today. I don't know what you come to do, but I come to find me some soul up in this house tonight. All I ever wanted, all I ever needed is here in my arms. Words are very unnecessary, they can only do harm.
result of what you exercise. If you exercise in the realm of the flesh, you're going to be carnal. If you exercise in the realm of the spirit, you're going to be spiritual. It's a choice you make. See, anybody who's back at the house fussing at me right now, it ain't going to do no good because I'm not there. That's where I was. That's not where I am. You can be at home making faces at me. It don't affect me at all because I'm not there. I'm over here. You need to move into another dimension. You are too close to them carnal people to walk in the spirit like you need to. You need to move into another dimension. My God, it's going to get good here in a minute. It's going to get good here in a minute. It's going to get good here in a minute. It's going to get good here in a minute. It's going to get good here in a minute. So somebody say, I'm in another dimension. When you have divine orders from headquarters, don't be worried about what people say. It doesn't make any difference what they say. One way or another.
Esce solo te sprizza che caraca tu e se me ci vuoi te somebody a tu quante sarà insomma fate un pezzo con we stay, we can't, we there need to shake and move it now the French keeper in the sun when the sun pode estar errado o quero é somar esce solo te sprizza che caraca tu e se mi ci vuoi te somebody a tu quante sarà questa la fase per si collega we stay, we can't, we there need to shake and move it now
bit of this salt. And if you get hooked, baby, it's nobody else's fault, so don't do it. Free. Rock. Free. Rock. Free. Rock. Free. Rock. Rock. Go. Higher, baby. Get higher, baby. Get higher, baby. And don't ever come down.
Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was.
lullabies and melodies revealed. In deep despair on lonely nights, he knows just how you feel. The slyest rhymes, the sharpest suits, in miracles made real. Like a bird in the night, on a hot sweet night, you know you're right just to hold her tight. He suits it right, makes it out of sight, and everything's good in the world tonight. When Smokey sings, I hear violins. When Smokey sings, I forget everything. As she's packing her things, as she's spreading her wings, the front door might slam, the back door it rings, and Smokey sings. He sings. Elegance and eloquence, for sale or rent or hire. Should I say yes, I match his best, then I would be a liar. Symphonies that soothe the rage when lovers' hearts catch fire. Like a bird in flight on a hot sweet night, you know you're right just to hold her tight. He suits it right, makes it out of sight, and everything's good in the world tonight. When Smokey sings, I hear violins. When Smokey sings, I forget everything, yeah. As she's packing her things, as she's spreading her wings, smashing the hell with the heaven she brings. Then Smokey sings, he sings. Would it be true to say, I need you so bad, I need you so bad today? Would it be true to say,